This is another example of somebody posting something publicly on social media for anyone to see, and then when people who are experts in that thing try to explain to the OP what it is, they're like, no, it's not. It's like, it's funny, but also frustrating. But again, to that, I say to anybody who's going to do that, do not post stuff online if you're not open to feedback. That is what posting online is about. If it's an inside thought and you don't want feedback on it, then don't post it anywhere. Especially on a platform like TikTok where things very easily go viral. Hey humans, it's Hannah. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is another TikTok debunking video. And if you feel like you just saw this, you're not going crazy. The last video I posted was a part 1, and this is going to be a part 2 in January of this series. And I will explain why in just a minute. But we do have quite the few juicy videos for you today. So we're going to talk about this horse ghost one that I was tagged in. I can't tell you how many times I was tagged in this one. It has over 9 million views on TikTok. We also have this video that went massively viral, and I have a lot of thoughts on this account that you guys might be interested in hearing about, and lots more, so stick around. Today's video is supported by a sponsor. We're gonna roll that, but I'll be right back with you. But before we get into today's TikToks, I am so excited to talk about today's sponsor, which is Factor. Factor is the solution to so many problems that most of us have. They deliver delicious meals right to your front door, so there's no grocery shopping. You can then heat up the meals in the microwave in just a couple minutes, so there's no prep and no actual cooking. And after you enjoy your delicious meal, there's no cleanup, and there's also no food waste because it's just a portion for you. Not only that, but these meals are chef crafted, dietitian approved, fresh, never frozen. I always get the chef's choice plan, which has a little bit of everything. However, they do have plans to suit your specific lifestyle, especially specific diet lifestyles that are difficult to do on your own. So they have keto plans, but they also have like vegetarian or vegan plans. They have protein plus plans and calorie smart. My favorite part about Factor though is going through the snacks and other side options. They have like smoothies and shakes. They have little snacks, breakfast items, desserts, stuff like that. It's super fun. I love just scrolling through it. This week I'm having the Southwestern style ground porks and calibaquitas. I'm probably saying that wrong. I apologize. It's also had queso fresco, ranchero black beans, and cilantro sour cream. It was delicious. Go to factor75.com or click the link below and use code 50 HannahTheHorrible for 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code 50 HannahTheHorrible for 50% off your first box and free shipping. Thank you again to Factor for being an amazing continued sponsor of this channel. Supporting them supports me. So thank you guys so much, and let's get into it. Okay, so as promised, I'm going to explain why we are doing kind of a repeat video for January. I never do these videos more than once a month. I typically do one TikTok debunking video a month to keep up with all the stuff that I'm tagged in. But if you guys want to know a sad personal update, keep listening. If you literally don't give a shit, which no judgment whatsoever. I often also don't care about personal lives for creators. I'm like, get to the content. So you can skip to this timestamp if you want to just get into the TikToks. But for those of you that are interested in learning, I'm not going to talk too much about this because I will start crying. And if I talk about it too long, I just will start sobbing again. And I'm really sick of crying. So yeah, really quick update. A lot of you guys know that I have 2 rats, Chucky and Reptar. If you're a 90s baby, you understand. They're my little rugrats is what I call them. Yeah, I've only had them a little bit over a year, and just recently, if you've been following me on Instagram stories, that's a lot of where I post them most of the time. And Reptar has been gaining a lot of weight, so he's really overweight. We're working on that. But Chucky has been losing a lot of weight. And at first, I did take him to the vet for that months ago, and they told me that it was because Chucky was neutered, so Reptar is very dominant now, so he's stealing all his snacks. So I was like, okay. So I've been trying to help Chucky gain weight. hand feeding him liquid food every single night, every single day, as much as he would take, and he still wasn't gaining weight. And then I noticed that his tongue was purple the other day. This was just last week that I noticed his tongue was purple, which is, if you don't know, if any of your extremities are swollen for unknown reasons, or it looks like they're discolored or purple, that's a sign in humans and animals that there is a lack of oxygen to that area. So I rushed him to the ER after I figured out that that was an urgent thing. I rushed him to the ER and they had to do x-rays. He was there all day. He was been in the ER twice in the last week. And he was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. So, for people in the rat community, Chucky's my heart rat. Like, that's what we call the rat that like connects with you the most, that like you just form a really, really strong bond with. And his brother, I mean, I love his brother. Absolutely. Of course I do. I spent $5,000 saving his brother's life last year when he got a blockage, but his brother just doesn't care about me that much. Like, his brother's just not interested in me that much. I'm kind of just a treat dispenser for him, you know. He really just doesn't care much about me, which is fine. So Chucky is the one that's just my cuddle bug, and he just loves me so much, and I love him. We just really bonded, and he's only a little bit over a year old. He's only about 15 months old, and if you don't know, people say that rats live to be 3, but even 2 years old is pretty old for a rat. Anytime after 2, something typically can happen, and they generally, 3 is a very old rat, we'll say. And so while this isn't like a shock, I knew I wouldn't have a ton of time with them. I really thought that it's been a shock that this has happened so quickly, he's only 15 months old, and I just can't wrap my head around it. So yeah. Anyway, he's still with us. He's on a lot of medications now. He had pneumonia as well. So the vet and I decided it's not time to let him go yet, because he has a chance to live a pretty happy life for a few more months, which I know that doesn't sound worth it, but for a rat, that's a really long time. A few months can be, a quarter of their life. And we also wanted to see if he'd respond to the medications, and especially the antibiotics for the pneumonia, because if he could get rid of the infection and get his heart under control, where his heart didn't have to work so hard, he could be happy and not in pain or anything like that. Obviously, if he shows signs of pain and that it's not going to get better, I will always do what is best for my animal, no matter how I feel about it. I will not hesitate to give them their final gift of a peaceful transition. So all that to say, this is, like I said, this is hard for me to talk about. I am not looking at you guys that much because it's hard I'm looking at them because they're in the corner of the cage and Reptar is being a menace, and yeah. Anyway, so all that to say, I wasn't planning on posting a video last week anyway, but then I was in the ER on Thursday and Sunday, and I've just been exhausted and like, if you've had a sick animal, you know exactly how I feel. Pets are so emotionally exhausting when they're going through something, because they're just so helpless, and you're the only thing there for them, but you can't explain to them that you're trying to help. You get it. So I'm just tired. I'm just really exhausted. And that is why I started another video. I had another video planned for this week, but it takes a lot more time and research that I want to put into that video. And there's another video I'm working on, my next iceberg series as well. So it's just that I didn't want to skip this week's video because, to be frank, I can't afford it. It's thousands of dollars to go to the ER, especially when you go a couple days. It was $2,000 for me in the past 2 days taking him for all this treatment. So honestly, to be frank, I can't afford to take another week off. And I also just wanted to get something out to you guys. So these are the videos I do because I know I can get it done. So it's a video that you guys enjoy. It's one that it's mentally not too draining for me to put together. I enjoy them, and then it doesn't take me quite as long to edit these videos. So that is the compromise for today. If you sat through all that, I appreciate that you care about my personal life. Again, no judgment if you don't care. I totally understand. You're not here for me. You're here for the content. So, okay. let's get into today's TikToks. As always, please do not send any hate towards any of the creators that we talk about today. In the end, it's just ghost videos. It's not that serious. This first TikTok that we're going to watch is from Logan Lynn 2. This is the ghost horse video that has over 9 million views that I was tagged in dozens of times. So that always tells me you guys want me to talk about it. So here we go. I love this video, and I will tell you why. It's because it's a great example of how gullible people can be on TikTok, and I don't blame them for being gullible. Not everybody is chronically online, let alone chronically deep in the ghost rabbit hole like I am. But I think a lot of people on TikTok are also on the younger side, so they tend to be a little more gullible. But it's a great example of how gullible people are. Like, you scroll through the comments, so many people believed this video, and it just, the reason they thought so is because it kind of looks like the horse is translucent. It kind of looks like the horse is disappearing, and people thought that this was a ghost. And then she posted it like it was a ghost, of course, which helps too. If this wasn't a ghost, a lot of people were also saying that this was the time shadow theory, which honestly, I think that's just a term that TikTok made up for the search terms again. I swear so many of those automated search terms are just made up words and made up things that TikTok gaslights us all. The people of TikTok gaslight us all into thinking is a real term, because when I actually went to go try to look this up, I couldn't find that much. My understanding is that it is just the parallel universe theory, basically, that not necessarily this being a ghost, but that this horse and the person riding it are somebody on a parallel timeline, and there's a time slip, or we're seeing something in a parallel dimension, or it's something that's going to happen in the near future, and it just slipped into this timeline. It's a glitch in the matrix, basically. But this creator actually did the right thing and quickly came forward. On January 18th, she posted about how this was fake. This was not a real video. She also tagged the original video and her follow-up video with the full video without the music as green screen video. Like, those were the hashtags. So a lot of people thought she used the green screen filter in order to make it look like this horse was translucent, which I don't think that's actually what happened. I think she just tagged this as a green screen video to help people understand that it's fake. I'm not really sure, but I did find a video of her explaining this as well. Because in that video, she doesn't explain that it's a green screen. She says that this was something, her friend was riding the horse, she was filming it, and as she was filming, she noticed that her friend, who only had the white sleeves and the black shirt, was dressed pretty much in black other than that, and the really dark fur? Is it fur? It's hair for horses, right? I think horses have hair. On the horse was blending in with the shadows behind them when they went in the far distance of the stadium. So if you watch the video again, you could tell that it's just the trees and the dark shadows of the trees combined with how dark it was. So the horse blended in with the shadows in the background to make it look kind of translucent, which is why you can kind of only see the white sleeves of her friend. And I'll be honest, again, I'm not really understanding what the green screen thing is about. Maybe she did add a filter as well to make it look more translucent. That's the only thing I can think of. But regardless, this was fake, and a bunch of people believed this. She said she even posted this as a joke. She didn't mean to trick people. She just thought it was kind of funny that it looked like that in the camera, and then everybody started freaking out and saying that it was actually a ghost, which that is so relatable, and I do believe her. I really do think that she just thought it looked cool, so she posted it and was just like, ha, look, it's a ghost, and didn't realize people were going to take it seriously. I love this as an example, though, because it's a great example of, again, how gullible people can be, even though it was never real to begin with. But I love that she got the views for her account for her video, but then quickly fessed up. So if anybody went to her profile and was interested enough to look at it further, they would find out that it was never real. It was just a joke. So I just really appreciate the creators that do come forward, because it helps dampen down the rampant misinformation and the videos on TikTok where the creators pretend like it's real. The second TikTok we're going to watch today is from the account Huntin' Rhine. Okay, let's watch.
Yeah, I'm nervous.
This video has over 10 million views, and there isn't really an explanation anywhere. He also just kind of went on with his day and kept posting the normal videos without explaining what this is. But again, I don't think he was trying to like claim that this was some crazy paranormal video. He obviously wasn't faking something for a paranormal video. So again, I don't really see a problem with him not addressing it, because I did find a couple comments where people were like, hello, can you please explain what that video was about? And he does explain it. He explained that at the same time they were camping in the woods for their hunting trip, there was an all-male religious group retreat going on nearby. And I'm not kidding, this is what he said, and that he actually ran into them and chatted with them the day before, and this all-male religious group sorry I'm sorry if some of you guys know, I'm not religious and I'm super liberal, and so my brain just goes to, I'm like, they're all gay. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm 12. Anyway, so he talked to them the day before, and they explained to him that they were going to have a very big religious prayer ceremony the next day. And so he took this recording as they were supposedly doing that little prayer ceremony in the morning. And he explained in the comments that he just didn't expect it to be so loud. They thought that maybe they'd hear something, some maybe chanting or something, but it's just funny that it was this loud. It sounds very rambunctious. Wouldn't that be so funny if it was actually like a really dark cult ritual though, and they were doing some like real crazy satanic shit over there, but they just tell everybody in the area that it's for a religious group and that it's like a God-fearing religious group, just so that people don't freak out and interrupt their ceremony or call the cops on them. Sorry, my imagination's running wild, but I'm sure that's all it was. I'm not sure what they would be doing if somebody grew up religious or is religious and does this kind of thing. That just feels, going on an all-male religious retreat feels very culty to me, but maybe I'm being judgy. I don't know anything about religion. I will be frank about that. So, okay, moving on to TikTok number 3. This is from La Luna Mez TLI, I think. I'm not sure how to say. I'm so sorry. That's probably not how you say your username, but yeah. And they said in their caption that they actually took this quite a while ago. I think they said in 2021 or 2023, and that they are just posting it because TikTok is going to get banned. So they were kind of like, what the hell? Let's post it and see if anybody has any ideas, I would assume. But remember the plane TikTok that we talked about a couple weeks ago in the last episode, where he was just arguing with the literal pilots in his comments that were telling him what it was, and he was like, no, it's not. This is the water version of that, except it's not quite as viral. But this is another example of somebody posting something publicly on social media for anyone to see, and then when people who are experts in that thing try to explain to the OP what it is, they're like, no, it's not. It's like, it's funny, but also frustrating. But again, to that, I say to anybody who's going to do that, do not post stuff online if you're not open to feedback. That is what posting online is about. If it's an inside thought and you don't want feedback on it, then don't post it anywhere. Especially on a platform like TikTok, where things very easily go viral. Anyway, a ton of people in the comments were saying that, like, girl, are you sure this is not a sailboat? Because that looks like a sail on a sailboat that's just gently floating along the river. You could tell it's something moving because the lights above it on the video, there's like lights on the dock, and as it moves, it's blocking the lights on the dock. To be fair to OP, this might not be a sailboat. I know nothing about docks and ships and boats and stuff. What's a boat? I don't know. I'm scared of big open water, so I tend to not get on boats anyway. But there were people in the comments saying that they work on the docks or that they do this kind of stuff all the time. They know what this is, and they were explaining that it was shipping containers, or the vehicle rather, to move shipping containers on the docks, that it was equipment used to move big things from dock A to dock B, I believe. But when people commented this, and I didn't see anybody being nasty about it or anything, the OP was just like, there's no docks there. Or they would say, there's no shipping containers in this area. And it's like, girl, you're literally filming a dock. That's water, no? You are on land, no? That is some kind of ocean front, right? There is a dock there. We can see it in the video. You can't say there's no docks there. And even if there's no shipping containers in the area, as you said, which I don't know how you would know that for sure unless you looked all around that area and inspected the whole thing. How can you say that when it might be equipment taking something to the shipping container yard, or it might be an empty equipment that doesn't have a shipping container in it right now? I'm just saying, people that work on the docks that have seen this probably know better than you do. And she is claiming that this is some sort of giant and that it didn't look like a sailboat in person, and that it definitely looked like a giant or a cryptid giant in person. Now, I am not accusing her of lying. I do believe she took this video. I don't think she interfered with the video or faked this video. I'm sure to her and whoever is with her at this moment, it did look really weird to see this big black blob in the distance look like it was walking around, and you took a video of it and like, what the hell is that? I do understand that. So like I said, I'm not accusing her of faking this or lying. I'm just saying, like, don't insist something is paranormal when there's an easy explanation for it. Because let's just say for a moment that this was a giant, that this was a creature, that this was some sort of giant cryptid. You're in an urban area with how did it get there? Did it walk through? It walked from the mountains through the city and onto the docks, and nobody noticed? Nobody else took a picture of a giant? Nobody else was alarmed? Again, this would have made the news. Or say this giant thing was crept out of the water, swam out of the water. And again, same question. It was in the shallow water, just emerged and started taking a stroll down the dock, and nobody noticed, or people that are on their boats or work on the docks all the time never saw this creature before in their lives. And again, it just suddenly walked up to land and started strolling around. Which is more likely? Like, that's it, or that it's a shipping container equipment or a sailboat? I feel like for a lot of these TikToks, we can conclude that old saying, I forget exactly who said it, but I'll put it here, is that sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Okay, TikTok 4 for today is from an account called Little Craps. And this is one I'm going to give you context before. You're looking at the door behind the cat. This is a cute cat video, and you're looking at the doorway behind the cat. That's what everybody's freaking out about in this video. That's it. Very brief video. But if you look in the background, it looks like there's a face peeking out from behind the door. You know, we like to talk about peeking ghosts here. We talk about that all the time. How conveniently all ghosts and demons that are caught on video always seem to be peeking behind corners, then quickly drawing back, you know? However, this is simply a pareidolia effect, which we also talk about a lot on this channel. If you look at it from the perspective of it just being a thing, this is either a robe maybe hanging on the door and you can only see a part of the robe, but most likely what I think this is it's a mirror or a picture frame that is pinned up on the wall, on the back wall in the other room, and we can just see the border of the mirror or the picture frame, like you can just see the edge of it, and so it kind of looks funky from this distance, and you can just see that tiny bit around the corner. And because it's a picture frame or the frame of a mirror, it's got some sort of design or texture, so it kind of is looking like half a face. That's all this is. But we're not mad because we got to watch a cat video. This next TikTok is from the account Marco Camarillo. Apologize if I'm saying your last name wrong. This one's also very, very short. We're actually going to watch this one twice. And again, look behind this guy. He's going to be on a ride, and you're going to look behind him during the beginning of the video, not when he pans away, but when he's like doing a selfie at himself. So let's watch this video twice.
Hats and glasses. Hats and glasses.
Okay, so for this one, I think this is just good old-fashioned editing. I think he just added that little thing in post in a simple editing software. It's really hard with AI nowadays running rampant because for all we know, he could have put this in an AI prompt, like take this video and put a little figure behind me in the ride. Like that could have been the case, but the reason I don't think that's it is because the figure is not moving. If you look very closely at this thing, it is partially transparent and it doesn't appear to have a face, but it's also wearing gloves. It has its hands up in the air and it's just not moving. I don't know why a ghost would just be like sitting there with its hands up in the air when the ride isn't even doing anything at that moment, which just screams like pretty like low budget editing. Like you don't know a whole lot about editing, but you wanted to do this. So instead of making the figure move in edits, you just added this tiny little asset, this tiny little picture with the background removed into your video and then made it like you turn down the opaqueness, opacity, how do you say that? I see that word all the time in my editing software, but I never say it.
Opacity.
You know what I mean? Like turn down the transparency. We'll use that word to make it look more see-through. I am fairly confident that that is what happened in this video. Because not only is it not moving, but why would a ghost be wearing gloves? That also doesn't make a lot of sense. It's weird that it was just sitting back there and he said he's alone on the ride, but he didn't see this in his phone. Like I'm sorry, but if I'm taking a selfie and there was nobody else on the ride and there was just a dude sitting back there and it was not somebody without a face and it was just a ghost, like that, I feel like you would probably notice that on your phone. Who knows? But I don't know. I'm calling edited on this one. I think it's edited. Okay, this next one is from the account Haunted Amelia. This one doesn't really need a lot of context, but I do have a lot to say about this one. And this is that dartboard one that a lot of y'all tagged me in.
Stopped. Dart. And it's like, it just stopped. And now it's like, am I tripping out?
Okay, let's tackle this one. This is actually not about debunking this particular video, and I'm gonna be super honest with you. I can't debunk this particular video, but it's because I'm not a magician. I'll get to that later, but I can't explain to you exactly how she did this. But the reason I can debunk this is because if you go to Haunted Amelia's overall profile, if you go to her actual profile, her profile screams ARG/unfiction series to me. Now, it might not be an ARG because she hasn't given us any puzzles or clues yet to work with. A lot of people get unfiction series confused with ARGs, and there is a difference. An ARG stands for Ultimate Reality Game. Keyword there being game, meaning that the creator of the ARG has to give us clues. There's typically binary codes and other puzzles that the audience needs to solve in order for the story to continue and help determine the fate of the story. An unfiction series is just a series that is supposed to be very realistic. It's supposed to appear as if the creator on whatever social media is being dead serious, but it's not said straight up that it's a fiction. It's not like a movie where we all know that it's pretend. It's also one of those situations where all ARGs are a type of unfiction series, but not all unfiction series are ARGs. An ARG has to have that game element to it, that interactive element to it, or it's just an unfiction series. It doesn't really matter, but fun fact, just because I do get like a little self-righteous about it when people get them mixed up. Anyway, so her bio says that she is documenting her experience in her 250-year-old house. There's only 5 videos on her account as of filming, and they are all dedicated to showing us how haunted it is. There's no just casual videos where nothing exciting is happening. And then in subsequent videos after this dart video, she goes under a floorboard that doesn't seem to be like nailed down to the floor, and she finds this book that looks kind of like a grimoire under the floorboard. And then in part 2 of this video showing us this creepy book, she shows us what's inside the book, and she finds these super old creepy photographs. Again, this screams unfiction series to me. It's just too on the nose. There's just too much conveniently happening, perfectly all aligned with each other for this to be real, or for her to be claiming that this is real. And I say that because I don't think that she's trying to trick us all. I think she is trying to communicate that this is supposed to be a series and it's for entertainment. I know it seems not plausible for it to be fake, in the sense that it would be so much work. Like, how did she find this book? Where did she get those photographs? She found a floorboard, or she undid a floorboard, and then she managed to bury this thing deep under the floorboard, under all that rock and dirt and stuff like that, to make this convincing and make it look like it wasn't planted there. Like, isn't that way too much effort? And to that I say, no, it's really not. People have done way crazier, more elaborate things to set up fake videos than this. This is actually quite on the tame side, in my opinion, especially for stuff like ARGs or unfiction series. People go nuts making those very high production value and convincing. A lot of the times we later find out that the creators of ARGs and unfiction series are aspiring filmmakers, so they are just naturally very crafty, they're artists, they're resourceful, they're really good at coming up with ways to make this seem very convincing and extra creepy and movie-like. Remember, we don't know anything about this person behind this account. They're completely anonymous. They haven't shown their face. We don't know any of their other accounts. So this could definitely be an art project. They might be an aspiring artist. So what I personally think happened here is that she does actually live in a 250-year-old house. She probably does actually live in this very, very old, very creepy house, and maybe has even suspected that it's been haunted. And then one of her friends or somebody came over one day and was like, dude, this would make such a good TikTok story. Like, your house is so creepy. And then that kind of light bulb moment for the creator, you know what I mean? Because there's no lack of creepy things to film in the house, and a little bit of finagling and setting up, and you can make a really convincing story. Like I said, the setup would take a little bit of planning, but it wouldn't necessarily be hard. For this book, for example, I was able to go on eBay, Etsy, on shopping, and found very similar books to this. And I bet she found a very unique one somewhere on eBay or Etsy. And then it's also very, very easy to find creepy looking vintage photos like this, because a lot of people like them for Halloween props. So while it would take some planning and setup and effort, the juice was probably worth the squeeze for this creator, because she, he, they, I'm not sure their gender, but they have over 20 million views on their channel overall and already have 40,000 subscribers. Now, for the dartboard in particular, like I said, I really can't debunk that. Usually magicians are a lot better at debunking that kind of stuff, because usually this is some sort of magic trick that people are doing. And if you zoomed out and you saw the full picture, it would probably be pretty obvious how they were doing it. There's probably something off camera making this much more understandable. I can only imagine that this is some sort of magnet trick, maybe, perhaps, or some sort of fancy editing. But I would like to point out that the dartboard, even though there's darts in it, as if somebody was just playing, the dartboard is laying down on a surface. It's not up on the wall, which is just kind of like, why? You know, it makes me suspicious that perhaps in order for the trick to work, or whatever magnet to work, there had to be a magnet underneath the board, perhaps, or there had to be somebody with the magnet off screen, something like that. Not positive, but the other suspicious thing is that why a dartboard? Because the darts on the dartboard are conveniently metal, right? It's a light object, but it has a whole metal body. So again, convenient for a magnet to work with something like that. She could have maybe finagled a green screen glove, but I think that would be kind of tricky with something this close up, because with a green screen, I think it would be hard to make it so that part of the, like, I think you'd see a transparent section of the dart where a finger from the green screen glove would be, but you know, that's also possible. The other thing is that she was conveniently filming this dartboard when this started to happen. I mean, I guess she could have just pulled her phone out of her pocket when she saw that it was moving, but I don't know, just seems, again, just a little on the nose. Now, I'm not mad at this particular account for not telling us that it's a fiction series or that it's just a entertainment thing. She even had, I saw hashtag even said entertainment, hashtag entertainment. So I think that's kind of a very small tell, but I don't think she really needs to tell us because it's obvious to me. Like, it is very, like, they're not supposed to be so obvious that it doesn't scare people. Like, that's why ARGs and unfiction series are so fun for a lot of people, because they're so immersive, right? Because it's kind of that thing in the back of your mind where it's like, I know this is fake, I know this is just a series, but what if it wasn't? Because it's so realistic. Like, what if this was the one that was actually real? It's so immersive. It really gets you into the story and you get to interact with it because it's so much more realistic and there's no blatant disclaimer that it's fiction. That is what makes these so fun. So I'd personally be disappointed if she did assure us that this was all fake. I think she should keep going. I think the way she set up her account made it very obvious that this is supposed to just be a series, which, props to her. It's great so far. Can't wait to see what else I think it's a she, what else they come up with. Okay, moving on. This is TikTok number 7 for today. I cannot pronounce this username to save my life. I honestly don't feel bad about it in this case though, for not giving them credit, because this is an account that just steals everybody else's videos and gives themselves credit. So literally, who cares?
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. 5, 6, grab your crucifix. 7, 8, gonna stay.
Is that song from a movie I haven't seen? Because that song is cursed. I don't know if I can add it in the video. It might be copyrighted, but if you did hear that song, what the hell is that? What is that from? That song is cursed. Okay, so like I said, we know that this is fake because if you go to this profile, this person's profile, all they do is repost other people's videos and sometimes add captions to it, but other than that, adds absolutely nothing else of value. Like this video, for example, has 38 million views on their account and they never gave credit to the original poster. And I remember this video, I have been seeing it floating around the internet for years and years and years. So I know for a fact that this person is just reposting a bunch of videos. Listen, it pisses me off on a normal day when people do that, but the audacity of this account to watermark these videos, to put their username, that is not the only video that they put their username like in the middle of the video, so that if somebody stole it from their account, you would know that it wasn't theirs. Like they would get credit for it, which is absolutely batshit unhinged to me. The audacity of watermarking a video that's not yours. Dude, that is so messed up to me. Who does that? I also saw this exact clip on other accounts and on an Instagram account as well. So they're just reposting stuff. I don't know. I don't understand why they're marking it like, don't steal my video. These are mine. It's not yours. You stole it. Are you kidding me? Oh my God, you're just asking for a lawsuit at that point. Okay, this one has to be edited. This has to be edited. It's weird because there's a lot of comments in any post that I found of this video being reposted that said like, people were like, well, that's not possible. You can't go all the way around on a swing set. And other people are replying like, yes, it is. I used to do it as a kid. And if somebody tells you that they used to do this as a kid, they are either having a false memory and they fabricated that memory in their mind from childhood, or they are actually a ghost themselves because they died when they attempted this. I did a little Googling. turns out for regular chain swing sets with chains, this is not possible. This is not physically possible. It's against physics. It doesn't work. It only works if you, first of all, you have to be like pretty good at it. Like I saw this video of somebody doing it, but the most important thing is that you have to have rigid poles. It can't be chains. It has to be a rigid pole attached on the swing. And then like this example, somebody did it, but they had to do it. Oh, this was somebody advanced, athletic. They knew how to move their body in a way to get it to swing more and more as it went by. And then it took lots of attempts to finally go all the way around. There's not just some kid on a playground going all the way around. Not possible. Sorry. And if you don't believe me, Mythbusters did an episode about it as well. And they also proved that it's not possible with just chains. So yeah, this is either an edited video or it literally is a demon that took a break from possessing people and is just hanging out on the playground. I'll let you decide which one it is. Okay, TikTok number 8 for today. This one is from Max Garcia 531. This one's sitting at 2.6 million views, and other people in the area posted something similar. So let's watch that.
Yo guys, tell me what the fuck is. I did a lot of clips, but look at this shit. This is in New Jersey. Can somebody explain to me what the fuck this is? I saw the drones everybody's talking about somewhere else, but I couldn't stop the car to take a video because I was on the road and there was trucks and there's nowhere to stop. But look at this. Can somebody tell me what the fuck this is? This is in Jersey. I'm in Jersey. I just finished working. Look at this shit. You tell me those are drones moving in that pattern and so fast. You're going to see how they move so fast. And then they've been moving because they were all the way somewhere else where I was driving and they're moving. It's not like they're staying in one spot. And sometimes they create 2 rings. Look at that. What the fuck is that? Can somebody explain to me what the fuck that is? Anyone?
Again, more of like, please tell me what this is. And then when people tell them what it is, people won't have it. Now, to be fair, I didn't see the OP being defensive about this in the comments, but I saw other people who were like, that's not it. And it's just, yeah. Anyway, okay. That whole drone mystery is a whole separate thing. I'm not getting into that right now, but this person is in Fort Lee, New Jersey. And for me, I just put myself in the position of this person. If I were driving down the road and I saw that, I like to remember, like, what would I think? Would I go, oh my God, we're being alien invaded. Oh my God, it's government drones. Oh my God, it's another country with drones or taking over or spying on us. No, my brain would go, huh, it's a light show nearby, or there's some sort of event, maybe a casino, maybe some sort of big building that has lights and there's spotlights flashing up at the sky and doing something like that. That's just where my brain goes, but I tend to not freak out. I usually think there's an explanation for almost everything. Now, this was posted on December 18th of just last year, so it was right before Christmas. Like we said, this was in Fort Lee, New Jersey, and this was most likely at the Jack Alter Community Center, because when you look up Fort Lee, New Jersey light show, Christmas light show, the Jack Alter Community Center is the only thing that shows up. And for December and up until January 7th, they were having a light show every 10 minutes from 5:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. all throughout the holiday season. And there's videos of it on YouTube. There's videos of how much was going on. And if you look at it from, they had drone views of it, and there were spotlights from the stage. There was these big flashy lights coming from different parts of this community center. This was not an alien spaceship coming to take you. This was just spotlights reflecting off of the clouds. The clouds were low and they were dancing around. It was part of a light show. I am positive that that is all this was. This next account is The Green Manor, and this is another very old house. This one says that it is also 250 years old, over 250, so it was from the 1760s is supposedly when this house was built. And of course, it's haunted. Let's watch this video. Okay, so first of all, I just have to say, I have to say it. I love this house. It's beautiful. This is my favorite type of house. The creaky floorboards on the real hardwood floors. It's super old. It has so much character. It's almost Victorian. It's so practical magic. I just adore this house. So please remember that when I talk about this, because it means that I'm biased, because I want a house like this to be haunted. So please take my debunking with a grain of salt on this one, at least. I think that the video itself that we just watched together is fake, or at the very, very least, very exaggerated. However, like I kind of touched on, anything 250 years old has to be haunted, right? There's no way this house hasn't seen some things. There's no way people haven't died and been killed in this house, or that it's not built upon something haunted. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't surprise me if I stayed there and I did have weird experiences. It's another one of those, like, I don't think this creator is necessarily lying. Maybe this particular video, but like overall, I would believe that a lot of these experiences are real, or she has experienced similar things that she described in the video, but it's all set up to show us for this video, or that it's exaggerated. So, you know, for example, the little floating candle things, or the pulley string for the light can be, you could put a fan in the room and blow it up towards the ceiling to make all that stuff move, and then you just have your camera ready and you turn the fan off and get it out of frame, and then film the rest of the movement of those things. Like, that would be easy to set up. For obvious reasons, we have to just take her word for it on the jewelry. There's really no way to prove that through a TikTok regardless. For the music box though, I honestly think, again, music boxes are another really easy thing to fake, because you just have to wind them up and then they go on their own. So it would have been really, really easy to wind this up, leave it open on the dresser, and then wait for the music to start to slow down while you're filming it, and then go and close it. Like, it would just be way too easy to fake. I would need to see security footage of this bedroom when this music box opens and starts playing for me to believe it. I would need to see the full uncut video. Like, conveniently, they're not showing us that. The hat on the mannequin, of course, we also have to take her word for it, but the door closing, again, one of those analysis things. Notice that the door only moves in her direction, in the direction of the person that's in the room. Notice that it only moves towards her. That's because there's very likely a string or something attached to it in order for her to pull it to make it look like it's moving on its own. Because in the next shot, the door opens again, but it's clear that she's close to the door and she's pushing it open with her hand. She's not really trying to hide that. It's when she steps away that she's trying to show that the door is closing on its own, and that I think is really convenient, that it only closes towards her. Like, why does this, when this stuff is moving on its own, why do ghosts never enter the room? Why do they only ever close the door on you? The cats are self-explanatory. This is not unique to her cats. All cats can see into the underworld. All cats can see alternate timelines. Cats are paranormal beings in themselves, so none of that surprises me. Cats are frightening and weird. I don't necessarily think that's proof in this particular case. I think that's just cats. I think it's just the way cats are. So yeah, maybe she has really experienced similar stuff to this and she's kind of reenacting it for a video. In one of her other videos that I watched, she does say that, like, she does the knocking and she does say, I'm reenacting it for the sake of the video. So she does kind of fess up to that. So I kind of wonder if this is like a based on true events video where she's just kind of showing us all the stuff that they've experienced, but the stuff they've actually experienced probably wasn't this intense or this blatant. So like I said, I'm biased. I like to think that old, beautiful houses like this are haunted regardless, but I don't necessarily believe this video. I think this video itself is set up. Okay, and the last TikTok that we're going to talk about today is from MoneyHouse27, and this one has over 12 million views.
Am I tripping, or is there a car in the sky?
There are 39,361 comments on this video. Like I said, it has millions of views, and I am fairly confident that 39,640 of those comments say some rendition of "It's just Harry and Ron going to Hogwarts." But for the couple people that I could find in the comments that were taking it seriously, many people were just saying like, "It's just a plane, what are you talking about?" And I'm sorry, I'm actually gonna side with the believers on that particular point. This is not a plane. I don't know what you think a plane looks like. That is not a plane. That, clear as day, looks like a car to me. The lights, like, it has like red lights in the back, the white two front lights, like it just looks very much like a vehicle. It doesn't look big enough. I don't see any sort of wings anywhere. I don't see how that could be a plane. So at first I was thinking like maybe this is a drone. Maybe that's just a weird drone with similar lights to car lights for some reason that I couldn't tell you. So that's kind of what my first thought is. That's a lot of the time what I think weird UFOs are, is often just drones, because drones are getting so big nowadays. But then I realized what this most likely really is. And again, this wasn't my idea, which I feel stupid for not coming up with this on my own, but I did get helps from the comments, I will humbly admit. But this is, again, we saw a video like this a few months back when we talked about this, but this is another one of those videos where it's a hill or a mountain, a very large hill or a mountain behind the building. And because it's so foggy out, you can't see the actual road / mountain that this car is driving on. So the fog is covering all that, but obviously the lights, the headlights of the car are still going to shine through the fog. So that's why it looks like a flying car, because there's 99.9% sure that there is either a hill or a mountain behind. And because the lights on the building that she's aiming the camera on are also so bright, it's gonna make it look even more obstructed by the fog. So yeah, if you watch this video again with that lens, with that in mind, then that very much is what that looks like to me. And it does look freaky. It does look like it would be flying if the fog was covering up the ground that this car was driving on. All right, guys, that is going to be it for this video. I just want to thank you guys again so very much for being understanding, as this is not typical to do multiple TikTok videos like this, debunking videos in 1 month. So I do appreciate you. We have some really cool videos to come next month. Like I said, I'm going to start my new iceberg series, and I also have a really critical, fascinating video that I think you guys might enjoy. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have an inkling of what I'm working on in the background. So stay tuned. I will have a lot more videos coming, and I do, like I said, so appreciate you all for your patience as I go through a little bit of a rough patch in my life and start to grasp everything that's going on. So yeah, okay, thank you. I'm gonna stop yapping. Please like the video. Please don't forget our sponsor, which is Factor Today, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Thank you so much to all of our patrons on the screen right now. Special shout out to our newest top tiers. Our newest top tiers that just joined are Crow. Thank you so much. As well as Kevin Snipes. Thank you guys both so much for joining at the highest tier. But thank you, of course, to all of the patrons on the screen. And I'll see you guys later. Okay, bye.
Vad hakte alla, fest, full fest,